Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch Death Stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello. Oh, how's it going, everybody? We're feeling good today. We're feeling very good today. We are preparing. Oh, they signed into that. We are preparing for a transition. Transition to Bladedancer. So we're just squaring away some last things for our preparation here, and I realized I was like planning on what I was gonna buy from the bazaar to do this, and I'm like, just before coming on stream, I realized, wait a minute, I have to pay for the respec. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna look and see how much that is, because I think it's about $1 million. So we're gonna check that out first. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you with us. If you have a question for me, I'll be happy to answer it. Please put @Last Epoch Game in the question, or @Last Epoch on YouTube, and I will do my best to answer it. We stream for charity. Boom, above my head. Everything that comes in through stream, whatever that is, it goes to them. Because we're not doing this. We're doing this to answer questions mostly. Mastery. Here we go. Is it gonna completely? Surely it'll warn me. Tell me. Yeah, that's it. Did we nerf the price on that?
Do not dwell on regrets. Hello, traveler.
Did we nerf the price on that? That'd be lovely. I think it actually is going to tell me how much it is, and I just didn't want to click on it to make sure it didn't happen right away. We're gonna come here because I should have looked to see which ones I was missing the blessing on. We're gonna do one. We're gonna do one here first. We're getting pretty close to. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to having our gear all specced out. We're gonna come in here. I also realized that I've been just avoiding cemeteries too much, and I just don't even have all my Weaver points because of it. Because I was being silly. First question in the pipe. Mike, any plans to rework the new Shadow? Oh, I did miss one before. Okay, we'll do the second one first. Any plans to rework the node Shadow Step from Shadow Cascade skill to be more intuitive or something similar? I like the general idea, but having to click my shadows to switch places seems counterintuitive. Let's see what's word. I do remember making this note. I'm not sure what's unintuitive about this. I'd be really interesting to know, like hit me with a follow-up here. What is the what part of this is unintuitive or not working? Maybe it's just in the functionality, but when you're playing it doesn't work as it says it should work or something like that. I'm very interested to know what parts of this are not intuitive, because it seems really intuitive to me. Click on a shadow, switch with the shadow. Seems very straightforward to me. Is it just because it's hard to see the shadows with everything going on, and so you're not really sure which ones are which? Is it the range is if I click here, should it jump to this one, or it's the error tolerance for the targeting isn't high enough or something like that? What's the part that's having issues there? I'm not sure, but I'm curious to know. I like Big Ellie fan here. Thank you. Do you think there'll be a Necromancer belt one day? I mean, I don't want to make promises on anything like that. You mean a unique, specifically tailored to Necromancers? Possibly. I think part of the problem is that we don't typically put a lot of minion related stats specifically on belts. I don't think. Is there a Beastmaster belt that I'm just like missing, or is it like what was I using last season? I think I was using Brewmasters.
Your reflection trembles.
That was close.
Like usually the belt slot is aimed at like potion related things. That's the typical mechanical place for the belt to sit. Right, what do we got? What do we got? Just like this is the time. Let's put this in there. We do already have a pretty good pair of boots, but like a 2 LP version would be really nice. That's what we're hoping for. What do belts have in general? The belt prefix minion. There's like minion damage on belts. Okay, I'm just like completely wrong. Yeah. Minion damage, minion health regen. There's Pebble's belt. There's a minion belt right there. Yeah, maybe there's more space in minions for belts than I thought. Are there uniques that like call out minions for Beastmaster? Is that a thing? Oh. Oh. We also, oh, is that one hand? Is two hand? That number looks real high for a one-hander. We've also set drop color for new gear that we want. So there's some overlap. So this is what gear drops for the new build looks like. It's red, it's angry, it's shiny. I just put any unique or set that that is one of the bases we want for that to drop like that. Interesting. Okay. What do you think the game is missing in terms of class, fantasy / archetype at the moment? I mean, there's a few things that I really love to do. We don't have we don't have a class that focuses on like unarmed combat, like an unarmed melee, so like punches, kicks, where you're not using a weapon specifically to focus your damage. We don't have a like I would say like a bard flavor class. So there's no like I think there's lots of variants of that in lots of different games, what that can look like, but there's nothing that's like even in that like general vibe. Barbarian light I think is available, but not really like barbarian available. Of a spellcaster in the void space. So like most of these is like necro. There's melee and spell versions of most of these things available. Spell void is very minimal right now. Like there's some stuff in like in mage as like a items that do it. There's some things in void knight that do it, but void knight's really melee focused. I think that's some of the big archetypes we're missing right now. Yeah. There's lots of more like niche and creative things I think that we can do as well that I am really interested to look at. Let's go for the new one, I guess. All right, hey Mike, I was curious, what's your favorite question you've received lately, and what question have you had a lot lately you would love more information to present? My favorite questions are usually ones that get me rambling. So whatever my longest answer has been in the last little while, that's my favorite question. I think. I like ones that trigger a memory, cause me to be like, oh, here's a cool thing that happened way back when we were working out of the garage phase. I'm going off the top of my head of an example. The things that I wish I'd had more information. I wish I could tell you more information on the one I get a ton of that I wish I could tell you more about. When season 5 coming? Sorry, I can't tell you when season 5 is coming yet. What have I said about it so far? We've got an internal date we're working towards. We've got the teaser trailer ready to go. We just want to make sure we're solid on the date first before posting it. Okay. Let's not. This is the problem I'm having with this build right now, is that it's a little on the squishy side. I'm only in like 400 and something corruption. Where am I at? 469, and I still get bopped pretty hard sometimes. Okay. Follow up to the Shadow Step question. Wondrous. Wondrous! Thank you so much. Shadow Step feels counterintuitive to me because you have to click a shadow to switch places while in combat. You'd rather fight enemies than having to worry about finding a shadow to click on. Okay, so it's just you'd rather be able to teleport to enemies than to your shadows. I think that fundamentally changes the ability so much. I think that makes it just a different ability, really, which is interesting. But I'd rather be exploring that as a completely different ability than as, a node on Shadow Cascade. 8. Oof. Wrong set ring might, but I picked it up anyway. We'll keep it. I was wondering why I didn't highlight for a second. That should have highlighted. Different set ring. We're done here. Let's go. There we are. Okay, so we've got. We should do this right now. Yeah. Boop, boop. We want to make a ring based on these, but we don't want to use the actual ring itself. So we want to reforge it. So we're gonna corrupt some. Not awesome. Still usable? I mean, this is so much better than either of those right now, but just go for it. I mean, low roll T6 is fine. The int isn't awesome. Ton of int. Not what we're looking for. Still probably the best one of them 3 so far. Crit chance is nice. I'm just gonna out of spite. We've also got these two. Let's do these real quick. Just removed the 7 affixes, 7 tiers of affixes. Great. Love it. Better than removing the affixes, but Okay, we at least got those. This is the belt we're gonna use at the start. Helmet, gloves, kind of weird gloves. They're not fantastic for us, so they're fine. I think we're gonna use this chest. We're gonna put these. We're gonna slam these onto this. We're gonna slam this onto this. We're gonna slam this, which I just happened to find in my inventory. I was like, yes. Gonna craft on it a little bit, and get that melee fire damage speed to T7, because it is a 7/6 right now. 58 fortune. Nice. Okay, sweet. Onto this, which I did buy. This is the one piece that I did buy. made this. Happy about. We've got some idols that we're working with here. And we're gonna do Omni for the amulet, which I was gonna buy after I figured out how much money I have left to spend and how much my resistances are needed in every category. Because the price of an Omni can vary really wildly. Really wildly. All right, are there any plans to increase mob density to something like 50% or closer to what PoE 2 currently allows? Has this been thought about, or is performance still not there? I mean, performance has been a big part of this for sure. We've slowly been like turning that dial up. Every patch it kind of creeps up and creeps up and creeps up. So I think it's gonna keep creeping up as performance gets better. We're doing a lot of work on performance right now. Fine. Specifically around memory right now. A lot of stuff on memory. Oh, interesting. Okay, no, that'll kill us. Come on, don't die. Wait. Specifically on memory usage. Been a real big struggle to get that down just as low as possible, and it's been so. The amount of memory usage we've reduced has been crazy. I say I've had no part in it myself. The dev team behind that has been incredible. Alright. Oh, maybe this is I always like to check these because you never know. Maybe it's a bunch of lizards. Any plans for a mobile game version? Okay, so no. Short answer, no. I would love to do, and this is not something that we're like planning on doing. This is not like something we're working on. This is, I think it would be really cool to make some sort of like spin-off mobile game or something like that. Like if we've talked so often about wanting to like incorporate a card game into the game and like not working on that sort of thing. But like those sorts of things are, if there was a world where we did incorporate a card game into the game, like spin off a mobile card game version of it that's just the card game or something like that. I could see that being a lot of fun. A mobile version of Last Epoch itself, nah. It is, so there's big upsides in that you open up the game accessibility wise to a lot of players. I think that the way we've designed our like control systems and all of our UI and all of the gameplay and all of the way everything integrates together, I don't think it would translate well to mobile. You are getting a lot more powerful mobile systems that are able to handle things a lot bigger, and you can get like things like this, which are like you put a phone in there and it's like your phone has the same amount of buttons as a console does, which is great and all, but so like the size limiting factor I think of the screen, I just don't think it fits well with, we'd have to redesign so much for it to work well on mobile that I don't think it's worthwhile. I think it needs to be a different game, which we're not looking at right now. That's too much. Let's make Last Epoch awesome. Let's make Last Epoch really special. And then we can consider it a spin-off, a long ways down the road, maybe. All right. I would still love to do a card game in the game. That I'd love to do so much though. Part of me worries that I'd be terrible at designing a card game, even though I love it so much. But I would totally give that a shot. All right. Next question. Moving on. Hey Mike, love Last Epoch, thank you. Have you guys considered a refresh of some of the blessings, especially drop rate ones, Last Ruin, Fall of Empire, Blood, Trust it. Yes, is the short answer. We've considered it many times. I think the... I think that the... it's the relic, not the belt. That was funny. I think that a lot of the things that we wanted to do with the blessing system with regards to being able to customize the loot that you're getting has a lot of that heavy lifting has been offloaded into other systems recently. Specifically with things like the Weaver Tree. I think is a much better place for a system like that to live in general. There's the other, so the obvious solution there is, okay, great. So, you know, reduce the amount of power maybe that you get from each blessing, and then like put specific put like power blessings on every timeline. Easy, great, done, no problem. However, this does put a bit of a like, you have to complete all the timelines to complete the power you get from blessings, and then it's sort of like, is that too much? Too long tail of a grind for that sort of system, maybe. We now have idols to do. So we want mana efficiency with synchronized strike is sort of our big one. I think this is the next one we want. Ooh, that's good. That's good. We'll take those. Ring, body armor, belt, body armor. Looks like a bunch of money to me. Is that 6-7? Not bad.
Take care.
Got an empty spot here. Yours. Back there. Keep moving. Good evening, Mike. Good evening. What was the inspiration / deciding factor for EHG devs to make your own game / studio? There's a lot of inspiration. I think the core initial kernel probably started in Judd's heart playing Diablo 3, I think, like to actually want to create their own studio. The thought didn't really cross my mind. I was reading. I came to the project as a Reddit post on the Diablo 2 subreddit. I think it started out as just sort of like a, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can make this happen. And then when it became a realistic possibility, it was kind of a because we can. Like, why wouldn't we? There's no reason not to. I think it's just like we love playing these games, and we wanted something specific, and the only way to really get what you want, if you want something really specific, is to make it sometimes. And so we made it. When we started this out, it was everyone was in either school or had real jobs, or was out of school and couldn't find a job, like me. I was working like on-site tech support, just like for myself. Sometimes did some subcontracting stuff, you know?
I won't go back.
All right. Yeah, think those guys, I think the exiled mages got a raw deal. You know, imprisoned for experimenting? Come on. Right? What's up with that? Certain ARPG content directors or creators have become addicted to dink sounds when rare items drop, and he plans to dink items in LE for more content creation. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by dink items. Like, as like in quotes, like I assume like with a sound? Are we talking, because like we definitely do that. You mean like insane, like crazy rare items? Or is this like an acronym thing? Like DINK? Like dual income, no kids? I want to know what the dink in this question is. Sound question, but I could be wrong. Oh, it's the Divine Orb drop sound. Okay. I see what you mean. Cool. I mean, I think people like having audio cues in general for amazing things, and we just added a bunch of audio cues for loot filter sound sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know the sound because I never find Divine Orbs. I'm just kidding. I've been hoarding. Just broke 30. Which I know is not much. I think that there are, how does this? I want to add more situations where there's something dropped and it's obviously good when it drops. I think that's the really the strength of a Divine Orb in PoE 2 is that, you know, hey, this dropped, like, yay. It's the same thing like a Hyrule dropped. Yay, I know that this is holding value for sure. There's no, let me examine this to understand if it holds value. It's not necessarily a, hey, this item is good for me right now, but it is that I know I found something that is worth picking up, and it's an instant, I know that this is great, yay moment. And that's really awesome. And I think that's one of the issues we do have with some of our rare drop situations, especially as you get into a higher like loot quality of your gear, higher gear quality. So like you get a situation where like, your gear is becoming really good, one of these drops, and it's like, oh my god, look, it's amazing. It had a big sound that came with it. It has a big beam. It has a big color. Great. But I still don't know if that's going to actually be an upgrade for my gear until I look at it and I figure out, is it actually good? Is it actually an upgrade? I think that's the point that we really want to get towards, where there are situations a little bit more clear that you know when it drops if it's going to be useful or not, or valuable at least, which I think is one of the really good parts about, and like the two examples that I'm using as like really positive versions of that are like crafting materials that are tradable, which are really rare, which makes them really valuable because they're generically useful because they're crafting materials and really good. High runes and Divine Orbs. So it's almost like if a pile of 1,000,000 gold dropped on the ground, you'd be like, oh my god, I know that's great. If you're in merchant scope. And everyone who's farming like 2,000 corruption is like, 1,000,000 gold. heard you were changing the corruption system.
Easy. Too easy.
So this is why we almost didn't name item corruption. See which corruption system you're talking about. I assume you can't give details, but can you say if it's similar to other games like Torment levels in Diablo? So all I can really say is what we've talked about publicly around the name of it, which is what's been in the roadmap for a while now, it's the term we used in the roadmap was I should have this roadmap available at all times. I should have a link to it pretty recently. Someone sent me the link recently. I thought. Not in that channel. I'm pretty sure it just calls it corruption tiers. And so yeah, that's the implications there is that it is a pretty sure it says corruption tiers. Doesn't matter. It's corruption tiers. Is what we're calling it. And yeah, so it's like right now we have corruption in the game, as you probably know, which I can get to in a second. That was the sound for something dropping, but it's actually the sub sound, I think, right? Nope, I'm wrong. Corruption tiers being the thing, being the difference in corruption and corruption tiers primarily. The implication is that there are these thresholds in the system. And I think that's one of the things that the current system is missing, is that it is a smooth curve where you have these latest roadmap. Awesome. It's in a command in chat. That's so great. Thank you, Derek. What did we call it? I mean, I've already said it, so it doesn't matter what we called it. Is it not here? Did I just do bad things? Oh, corruption tiers. There it is. Okay, cool. Yes, corruption tiers. So yes, right now we have such a curve where the difference between corruption, like 100 and 110, is a 10% jump in corruption, but is a really small change overall. And then if you go from corruption 1000 to 1010, it's the same actual jump of 10, but the difference, I mean, I should probably use the number 100 instead of 10. Let's go 100 to 200 is a jump of 100, and 1000 to 1100 is a jump of 100. But the 100 to 200 is a 100% jump, and the jump from 1000 to 1100 is a 10% jump. So having these, this smooth curve makes it so that you end up with needing to spend a lot more time making the jump up to the next stage. If that makes any sense. And sometimes the jumps you do make can feel non-existent, where if you make like 4 tiny little hops going up like 30 each time, it doesn't feel like anything's changed really. There's not this noticeable difference in difficulty. There's not this noticeable difference in reward. We don't have these big jumps where we say like at 300 corruption, something awesome happens. At 500 corruption, something awesome happens. We have a couple of those, but not very many. And so having these more easily delineable points in tiers gives us more control over those things. I hear a baby crying and I want to go help, but I'm not supposed to leave. Are we even using shadow daggers in this build? We don't. Oop, wrong thing. We'll get to that in a second. I hear a baby. Yep, that's the button, Mike. Ooh. Silver Shroud's not... I don't know if we even use Silver Shroud, but it's not a terrible enchant to get. This one enchanted bad. We're not using Frostbite, so we're going to re-enchant this one. It's fated. It was fated. Okay. Now we've got several of these that we just haven't done yet. I kind of was saving some of them because I wanted to do the crafting of them, but I think I want the Weaver point, so I'm just gonna do some of these. But I do want to push these out because I am hoping to farm an Omni as well. That would be nice. This is our farthest out point. Yeah, we can do that. I hope. This one, however. We might be able to do that. I know it's not ideal, the placement. Fine. That's what we're not doing that. Okay. Let's go do some of these. Let's go earn some Weaver points. Yeah. Any plans to have better set bonuses in the future? Better interesting set bonuses in the near future? I mean, we're always looking to improve the itemization system in general. I think there's some pretty interesting set bonuses out there. I think, been a little hesitant to put too many crazy set bonuses in the game, lest the set system becomes too like, hey, you know, like this is your build is this set and it dictates your entire gear set. I think the reforging system helps with that a lot because it does give you a lot of control over what that set item looks like, which is nice. I think there's more room to put stronger set bonuses in the game now than there was previously. I know there's at least one new set coming that's pretty sweet. I'd like to see some more like build around me sets. I think that can be interesting, and especially with the reforging system available now. And Legends Entwined does add a lot of flexibility there as well. So with those two systems, I think I think we need to give ourselves a lot more freedom to build some stronger sets, because there is. I think that's one. Yeah, because one of the big problems we looked at with sets was, I mean, one of the defining factors on how you build your character in Diablo 3, for example, is you pick your set and that's what you build around. There's a couple builds that explicitly avoid sets, but for the vast majority of players, I think if you were playing like a meta build in Diablo 3, you were probably, even a homebrew build, but you're probably had a full set equipped, and it dictated the majority of your pieces. Probably. I think that may have scared us away from that a little bit. And I think we've added the tools now to the itemization system where that's less of an issue. I think I'd like to see a little bit more in the set front. There's some weird set systems that I've pitched over the years that unfortunately didn't get added, but I think there's more room for it now. Like I pitched a set that had 7 different swords in it. I pitched a set that had it only had like a 3-piece set bonus, but it had pieces that could go in every single slot. I think there's room for some wacky stuff in sets that I'd love to see. I haven't given a hope on either of those. Hello, Mike. Hello. Any plans to add lightning conversion for hammer throw? Unique one-handed mace, maybe? Because idols are far from enough for this power fantasy. I think there's room for lightning hammer throw to exist. I think it is, especially in the recent changes to paladins element identity that have come through, where there's a lot more lightning, like holy lightning, and we've got a lot more visuals for it. I think it'd be sweet to get like electrify in hammer throw. I don't want to promise anything, but you know, I'd be pretty happy if I saw that come across the table, and if anyone was like pitching that, I'd be like, a vote. Where's that needle? Needle. Void, where are we? Should be fine. We're not farming Aberoth. We do need to farm Aberoth a little bit. So just remind me when this fight ends that there's a harbinger, and I shouldn't stop to answer a question as soon as the fight ends. They definitely never do that, and like that didn't happen last week. But you know, just because it didn't happen last week doesn't mean it can't happen this week. If you weren't here last week, it totally happened last week. With the Acolyte skill, Hungering Souls and Dreadshade. Good topic. Let's not fumble at the finishing line. We currently have a mob possession state. I really want to read this question, but at the same time I want to not die. Oh, that was a close one. My damage is not very good. I wish I was doing more of it. My theme song. We're getting to like 4.5k ward here sometimes. Did we hit 5k at any point? Okay. Armor, I think armor's what we actually want. Come on. Yeah, armor's what we want. What we will want. We want dodge rating right now. But we will want armor later, so it's good that we have that. Great stuff. All right, let's read this question properly. With the Acolyte skill Hungering Souls and Dreadshade, we currently have a mob possession state and a minion player possession buff. Even if it's far away, is there any plans to expand upon the possession mechanic in LE? Can we hopefully for either mob or player/minion possession related skills, buffs, debuffs, even if the chance is written in ketchup? It would be cool to know. Can we be hopeful for either mob or player minion possession related skill buffs/debuffs? I haven't seen a ton of things specifically related to possession come down recently. I don't know. I don't have any quick off the top of my head like ideas on how you would expand that mechanic very much. I guess there's lots of things we could do around, like versus possessed, against like from possessed, that sort of thing. But it's not a broad enough mechanic that you can use it offensively like a debuff. Oh, player added to this. Can we get more possession related skills? I see what you're saying. There's no there's no real gaps in the like the skill list. I think right now that would do that. I think it would have to be adding the mechanic to a skill that already exists. I think it'd be tough to find space for it. Having said that, I think in the maybe a little bit more distant future, it could be a thing that could, you know, be reasonable to see. And maybe once we start, because we will eventually be adding more skills to every class. Maybe once we start doing that, it's the sort of thing that we could look into. I can see it being a thing. I would say it's more likely to appear as like, if we're going to be expanding the skills that already involve possession through a system, having it come up with that. I'd say that'd be the most likely place we would expand again. That for a second. All right, next question. Hi, Mike. Hello. How you doing? Are there any plans to add some more depth to the endgame in the upcoming seasonal mechanic? More depth in terms of adding new modifiers that only can roll from Nemesis or Double Corrupt or anything of that nature. Not looking at a Double Corrupt system right now for season 5. I don't want to give away specifically what's happening in the mechanic, in like the main mechanic for season 5, because it's, you know, the main thing we'd be talking about for season 5, and I'm not supposed to be spoiling that yet, sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, there is more depth in the system that is being added. Kind of the lowest answer I could possibly give at that, though. I'm sorry. Not really much else I can say. Nemesis already holds a pretty, I think Nemesis itself already holds a pretty specific function in the in-game crafting system, and I'm not super interested in like adding too much to that right now, I don't think. It's already arguably too much of a like awesome thing for it. I don't just corrupt these and see what happens then shatter from the corruption. Let's pull some random set items in. just start corrupting some of these for fun. Sure. Sure. Here we go. Got a whole bunch. Leave. Perfect. Let's get out of here. It's weird. We did it more for this, though. Grab this. Yeah. Are there any plans to add an editor of sorts to the offline version of the game? No. Where you could sandbox the game a bit by editing stuff to test? No. We have no plans to add that. The biggest reason why I'm not really interested in adding that, have you ever found the... Ever play like a Bethesda game and find the cheat code that lets you into the dev room where there just is boxes full of everything? And I don't know, every time I get into that room, very shortly after I stop playing the game. To vitality. I think it can also set up unreasonable expectations, especially in the systems that we currently have, where you have, where we do currently have items that are unreasonably difficult to get. They're not meant to be expected to be. You're not expected to be able to find certain items in the game, like just at all. Like a 4 LP red ring is not something that we expect players to be able to find ever. It would be sweet if one drops at some point somewhere out there and someone has one. That would be incredible. But it's not the sort of thing that we plan to exist, really. In like the itemization system, when we're looking at like, hey, when we expect players to be taking on the hardest content, what did their gear look like? And a 4 LP red ring is not one of the things that we expect to see there. I think that would need to change first before we could even consider a system like that. Really. I think we'd either have to put some sort of cap on there, so like a 4 LP red ring just can't exist, or we'd have to change the whole itemization and expectation system, which is, I think, unreasonable to do. There's other ways to do that too. You can put like a legendary, so you have legendary potential, and then you have like a legendary limit or something like that. It's like the legendary potential. You change legendary potential into like a legendary limit, where it's the like item has a maximum number of affix tiers that it can have. So like red ring can only have up to a maximum of 8 affix tiers, and that can be in the form of like 2 4s or a 7 and a 1, or something like that. But then like a fire starter torch can have up to 25 affix tiers, something like that. You'd have to change the systems in some way similar to that. That's another style that we considered when we were first in. But we have no plans to do that, just for the record. Right. Usually if you hear me talking really openly about something like that, it's because I know it's not going to happen. Why is Mike back to picking up everything again? What happened to me? Okay, next question. Hey Mike, what's your favorite MTG set? Mine is Original Lorwyn. A fantastic selection. Original Lorwyn, wonderful. Favorite set is hard. I think Original Ravnica is the one that like came to mind immediately, and I'm sitting here being like, do I like this more than Ravnica? It's the one that I'm comparing everything to in my head as I'm thinking about this. Like the return, like the Dominaria, the Return to Dominaria, which was just called Dominaria, was incredible. Partially because I, grew up playing when like Dominaria and Wrath were like basically the only planes that existed, and I loved Ice Age. It was an incredible time for Magic. I was way too young to really know what was going on, but there's lots of cards in there that like just hold so much nostalgia for me. I love, I know it's like a terrible, it was not a good set in its time, was the original Kamigawa block. love the aesthetic. There's lots of sweet mechanics that come out of that. You can tell I'm a commander player. I think original Ravnica. Noteworthy mentions, recent noteworthy mentions, Lorwyn Eclipsed, Dragonstorm, Bloomburrow. Looking over here. The original and the follow-up to Strixhaven were both fantastic. What else can I see on my desk? Oh, Onslaught and Judgment. Those were great sets. The whole Urza's block. That might be the answer. The whole Urza's block. I've had to pick one set, just Urza Saga. Okay, moving on. There's a lot I like. I'm going to stick with my original answer. Original Ravnica. I so enjoy Last Epoch and have been playing from early access through all seasons. Wow, it's a lot. But I start a new character each time, and though I'm an avid player, I haven't reached level 100 before. Is the hill climb from 95 to 100 a design philosophy? Yes. In that those levels should be hard to achieve. Yes. Have you all considered reducing that grind and putting in some Uber achievement systems? Yeah, we've considered that. So I mean, like, you look at something like, let's use Diablo 3 because it's the version that I played the most, where they have this like Paragon system where you hit max level. Like, max level signals the start of the end game, really, and then the Paragon system is what carries the character progression after that. And it's not really meant to have an end to it, so to speak. I think that the relative power you're getting out of your 110th or 112th or whatever it is passive point is pretty low. So like I'm at what, like 98 here? Anyway, so I have 2 passives left to go, and like, you know, your build's basically done at this point, right? I think that there's probably a little bit of bias in the amount of experience you're gaining from super high corruption is like really ratcheting up the experience gain that people are getting quite fast. I'd almost like to see, like, if I was going to change, I don't know if I want to change it really, but if I was going to change it, I'd almost want to see a point where the amount of experience gain. Actually, I do think I do this. I'd like to see a point where the amount of experience you're gaining from corruption starts to have diminishing returns, and then, but also at the same time reduce the maximum amount of experience you need to get to 100, so that there is, it makes it a little bit more accessible, but at the same time, not dramatically so, you know, just a touch. I would say make it a similar amount of grind for players that are playing meta builds and a little bit easier for players playing off meta builds. I think that would be a positive change. But I don't think that there's a major shift that we'd be really considering. We're talking small differences here, not like, oh my god, they changed the whole leveling curve. No. Nah. All right, what are we slapping on here? Do we care about Silver Shroud at all? Do we even have Silver Shroud in this build? I don't see it anywhere. We're gonna reroll these Silver Shrouds. Just get one of them? Yeah, get 2 of them, sweet. Silver Shroud, re-enchant. Not awesome. Synchronized Strike and Bow. This is the sort of thing that I really want to start. We've talked about not wanting smart loot in the past, and this is the sort of thing that I would actually like to start looking at smart loot for, in a sense, where there's this aversion from the game from doing exactly this, where it says like, hey, here we see that it says Synchronized Strike, a melee ability, and Shift, a movement ability. Let's put an enchant on it that gives you damage while wielding a bow. You literally cannot use synchronized strike and the damage while wielding a bow at the same time. Like those can't. There's no way to do that. And I'd love to start removing things like that from happening. Like, and maybe not removing, but reducing, I think would be a positive thing. Got lots of the spec though. Oh yeah, we got these. Yay! This. Up here? Sure. We do need more woven echoes. That's true, because we're missing a few still. We're gonna push all the way out. Because Omni drop chance goes up significantly the farther out you go. We'll drop. Unlike. I like love less Epoch. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do too. Have you guys considered a refresh on some of the blessings? Oh, I already answered this, didn't I? If you could have your name on an item in game, what would that item be? Ah, cool question. Well, I already have my picture on an item, so my face is already in there. I'd probably prefer like a reference to like one of the like gamer tags I've used over the years, sort of thing, than just like my straight up name. I don't know. I'd maybe put my name there. Let's see. I feel like I've already got myself in the game, so I'd want to put other people in the game first. But if hypothetically, it's happening. What item am I doing? It would be like a shrunken head. It would be a shrunken head relic, or an offhand, like a catalyst. That's what it would be. It would just be called Mike. Not terrible idea. Terrible idea. I don't think I want to do this to anything right now. If I do this to some bows, I'm just gonna leave this and come back. We came for the Weaver point and we got it. We're happy. What other ones am I missing that are good? This one's pretty good. Yeah, let's do this. I'm not going to do this yet because we want to do these other ones here and get our 3 Weaver points. Well, I very much appreciate that the crafting mats go straight to the storage now. Can we get the old sorting sound back? I've been playing since EA and I need that dopamine hit from the noise. I can ask. Okay, come on. Wow. That was a scary moment. Get these off the board here. Wow. All right. This echo always messes with my mind a lot. Because there's moves I'm used to avoiding. Any thoughts on expanding the Merchant skill to not just be used to trade gold using in-game materials / runes. Yeah, we've talked about this a few times. The only way this is possible, and it's something we've considered, the change that I'm going to say that is required to make this even be something we could consider, is something we have considered. And that is a full split of the crafting materials themselves from COF and MD. And I've like answered this so many times to different questions, like, yeah, it'd be great to do. We have to split them first. I'm a big advocate for splitting them in general. I think that there's a lot of concessions we've made in various game design systems for allowing you to switch back and forth so freely. And I know people will be like, so freely, it's impossible. There's a lot of things that we've said, like, that we've compromised on because you can switch at all. And I think that if we lock down the materials for the character when switching, so it's like you can switch, but it's basically like you're abandoning basically all of your secondary systems when you do switch. It would be we could open up a lot of mechanics, which would be really nice on both sides, on COF and MD, which is something I'm really interested in doing. But this is why, like, we had prophecies that were like drop a bunch of gold, and we had to like rip those out because gold carried over. You know, if there's a way to farm gold that's not play the game, it's going to be done. Sorry, I should make, if there's a way to farm gold more efficiently than play the game, it's going to be done. And I think that's true of any game, really. Like, if there was a Diablo 2 mode where all you did was cosplay as Kayn in other people's games for hours on end, but it was the most efficient way to get high runes, people would do it. If you like sat in other people's games and like they came to you to identify things, you had to pay 100 gold to identify their stuff every time they identified something, but there was like a 0.1% chance of it whenever you identified someone else's things, it would like give you a high rune. Oh my god, everyone would do that. All right, will you revert the change on font colors on the loot filter? Text color on the item was better before, which has been stated quite a few times already. Second, what about map icon colors? Beams, ground colors have much more colors to choose from, and map icons are limited. I mean, I think there's a lot of positive stuff around expanding the options there, but I wouldn't expect them to be like triple the number of like options or thing. I wouldn't expect that. These bad boys. What are we looking at? What are we doing? I disagree. I want more lizards. All right. Will we revert the change on font colors? I doubt it. But I mean, you can definitely ask for it. I know that there are there's always loot filter changes coming down the pipe. You know, it's always being improved. It's always been worked on. There's a lot of stuff being done on tooltips in general right now. There's a lot of UI work being done right now. A lot of cool stuff. You'll see some of that in Season 5, a lot of that in LEO. A champion approaches. Ah, no! Is he on the other side? He's on the other side. back to the side, right? And switch. Think. More questions. Have you thought about adding something like socketable items to make skills directly modifiable to increase stats, AoEs, trigger other skills? So the socketable system like question comes up quite a bit. I think it would need to have a really specific function that is different from like our affix system. Tying skill triggers specifically into it, I think, is risky. Skill triggers are crazy powerful, and if it's like the primary thing that it's used for, we're basically saying that skill triggers are the like necessary way to play. If that's like the thing that's comes from that system. I may have misread that because I'm trying to do this at the same time. Big downside of this whole thing. Multitasking. I've got text-to-speech questions. What could go wrong? Can you uncross that question out for me so I can read it better? Thank you. Alright, have you ever thought about adding something like socketable items to make skills directly modifiable to increase stats / AoE or trigger other skills? Okay, so it wasn't just about trigger, I just latched onto that. We've talked about we've talked about having a socketable system many times. The thing it boils down to is usually it's so similar to our affix system that we kind of drop it as a like, hey, it's just part of, it's an extension of our affix system. Our affix system is basically just a really fancy socketable system. I think that there is a lot of room for like socketable systems in other ways to do something like that. I think one of the great things about socketable systems is that you do end up with these itemized. It's more itemization, and more itemization is frequently fun. The other way, just getting caught up in the question here now, which is fine. Better thing for me to focus on. I think so. Having more adjustments to skill systems through itemization is awesome. I don't know if that necessarily needs to sit here, though. If that makes any sense. Cool. Can I purchase cosmetics on Steam and use them on the PS5 version? I don't know yet. That is something that I should know. I really hope so. I think if it's not possible, it's going to be because we're not allowed to do it. You know? Alright, this is the attribute switch one, which is fine and dandy. I don't think I have anything that I'm really trying to switch the attribute on right now. Switch that to Dex, but I'm going to slam this on a 1 LP item, so switch that to Dex. Why not, right? Cool, it's Dex now. That's not why we did it. We did it for this. This one? Is that good? Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, another, do the boss again. Let's do the boss again. Once more through the breach. Needle. Did I just switch my ring? That was subtle. We need to turn off right click to equip. Oh my gosh, we need to turn that up so bad. So bad. Can we get some improvements to the Woven Echoes panel? Basic search would be good. Step forward, but tweaks would be great too. Yeah, this panel, I could see it having a search. I think we did a really good job with the reorganization. This I think was a really good thing where there's now categories where you can be like, I'm gonna start crafting something here, gonna start arenas here or here. I think the hard part is when you're like, when you go to some reference and you're like, do this Woven Echo, and you're like, okay, which one is that? And you have like no other context other than just the name. That's the part that I find is the difficult thing. And that's when I think the search is useful. When you're like coming from another source. Now the nice thing is that lots of them will have the pictures and you can reference it that way a little bit easier, but it's still tricky. I think maybe having the like shadows of ones that you haven't done yet, the icons show up there would be good, where it's like, I think a hard part about it right now is that sometimes will be like, okay, I'm looking for the one that it looks like this. Like that one looks kind of like it. Is that it? This one looks kind of like it. Is that it? You can't see like the name of it. Being able to like hover, or not even hover, just like see the like shadows of the ones you haven't done yet, I think would be really useful in that. You know, part of it is that we were trying to make it like a kind of like a learning experience and exploration system where you're uncovering and unveiling these things, so that the primary time when there's an issue is when you're coming from an outside source is difficult to, I guess, reconcile. Not die at the last moment here. I do think there's room for improvement. There's always room for improvement in these sorts of things. I know we talked about doing a search, and like a search. Oh, search came up many times when we were originally designing it. That's so frustrating. Okay, we're just doing it without the. This is the part we want, anyways. We did talk a lot about adding a search to it initially when we were first setting it up. That was a definite consideration. Sorry. And was specifically not put in, which I know might sound weird. I could even see like a hold like modifier key 1 for more information. It like shows the names up, so you can like read through the names quickly or something like that. I can see that. The one advantage I can see to the search is that you could put things that search inside of it. So you'd be like search Rift, and it would highlight all of the ones related to Rift Beast. You know, that sort of thing would be cool. Great. This slightly best armor. Fine. Keep moving. Put this back in. Here's our last Woven Echo for this set, and then we're gonna do a. We're gonna try and down. You know what I haven't done? Okay. We're gonna go slam some uniques. And we're going to try and do a... I got to get to some questions here. We've actually got a lot of questions there, but taking my time. It's a busy week for questions. You all are doing fantastic. I do also have a teaser, which I will show. You know what? The Last Death probably would have been a really good time to do that. And being told teaser time right now. Yep. I was gonna say marginally self-aware, and I'm like, that's being generous, Mike. Let's put this in because it's primordial and it's cool. All right. As soon as this echo's done, I'll pop the teaser up, and then we're gonna go to. Do some slamming. We're gonna slam a couple things, and if the slams go well, I don't know if we have time to respec right now. I'm tempted to do the respec right now. You want me to burn the second half, or the last third of the stream on respecking? Slams go well. Hand over the teaser, no one gets hurt. That implying that someone will get hurt if I don't? Could we get a unique that turns our falcon into a dragon? Thoughts? I think that's super cool. I think that's a cosmetic waiting to happen would be my initial reaction. Like, let's do that in a cosmetic. Let's just go straight to slam. Welcome to the slam. Jam. Oh, I was gonna do the I wait. Promise something, then just like skip. No, we're skipping it. Okay. If you're a thirsty person and you just can't get enough potions, let me introduce you to your new best friend. If you just want to tough it out and just keep chugging potions no matter what, you just want to keep chugging potions over and over and over again. You just can't stop drinking potions. This is the amulet for you. It involves potions, yes. What level are these? I know I'll take you down before I actually go to something. Just level 70, level 27, level 60. Go to 70, a 27, and a 60. Cool. And boop, there you go. You live right there. So we do 2 of them there and 1 of them there. Let's start with the easy ones. Why don't we? Hey Mike, you mentioned earlier that the way the client and server communicate damage to each other is via percentage of max health. No, I know what this is referring to. That's not what I meant. I was wondering how granular this percentage can get, what data type is used. I was referring to the percentage of current health that the enemies are sitting at. So when you see a health bar at the top of the screen, the amount of fill in that health bar at the top, that is sent via an integer or even a double or something even smaller. Like it's a very small number because the precision there needs to be, the precision needed there is very low. Not double. Oh my god. Like a byte even. It doesn't need a lot of information there.
The Epoch, I will have the future cannot. Still so much to learn.
Oh. Okay. All right. It's an easy one. That's the one we can't do. Let's do this one. Doesn't matter what else is on it. It does matter what else is on it. Here we go. 32 is max roll, right? Yeah. Yeah. 1 LP, max roll. Here we go. Wonderful. Thank you very much. And it's gone. Oh, hey. Piston Void Res, not the worst thing. It's probably what we'll use. Might use that. Isn't Poison Res? Isn't Void Res? We'll see which one we need better. Which one we need more. Let's go again. Oh, why didn't you drop the season 5 teaser with the Steam sale video? Missed opportunity. Mostly because we just are not prepared to lock in a date yet. At the very end of the season 5 teaser is the date. I think the chances of the date changing at this point are so tiny. But it's not the most optimal time to do it, so we're not doing it yet. Is there a reason why the dot Witchfire did not get a curse tag? Yes. Do I remember exactly what that is? No, because this was a debate we had a while ago. I know Witchfire has the relic to relate its damage to cursed damage. Just feels weird to me. As a side note, I wish for ailments where there are reliable ways to increase the damage tick. So there's more ways than just stacks to build around. More ways than just stacks to build around. Yeah. I mean, the usual thing that gets brought up here is like, why isn't the initial hit something that scales ailment damage? Like, can we just go power through? We can't power through. It's shatterable. Shatter it. All right, we're doing this and this, which we do need to forge up a little bit. And we do care what it's getting. So what's a good suffix that this could get if it fell to it? What would be a good one that just like, okay, I guess it got that. Blind is always nice. Armor Shred's always nice. You do Fire Pen. I think Fire Pen. Okay, and then now we need to Havoc it because we want to get the 7/6 here. Yeah. 7/6, not the 7/6 we want. It's max roll on the 6 there. I think we kind of keep this. Max roll on the 7, max roll on the 6. I think we keep that. Because what are the odds that we actually get back to 7/6 and it's the right configuration and that high of a roll? I think we just roll with that. I think we chaos this. I think we hope this first. That's unfortunate. Okay, and then I think we chaos this. Oh, that's something. That was a good sound. Oh, wow. 62 months, Master Sword. Thank you so much. That's crazy. The streak's alive. Wow. That's incredible. Thank you. I don't know where I have a Master Sword. I don't know where it is. I should have that on hand for every time. And my shield as offering. Let's guess one more time. Back to shock. That's funny. Yeah, so we're down to 16 forging potential now. I don't think that's worth trying to havoc it into the right place. I'm just gonna leave that there. I'm just gonna roll with it like that. And now the melee fire damage I think is the more important one. So I'm actually going to do this and hope we hit the 7 on the other one. So I think it's better to get the 6 and something else than it is to get the attack speed. I don't have any. I don't have any. I'm a poor boy. I don't have any. I used my only one on the helmet, and it was such a good decision. That was crazy. You can open by clicking and dragging. You can open that with an item. I did not know that was possible. I think this is what we do. All right. Hey Mike, hope you're doing well. I've really been enjoying all the teasers and updates you've shared recently. The team's work is looking fantastic. Thank you very much. I was wondering if you're able to share anything about when season 5 trailer might be coming. I'm sorry, I can't. No pressure at all. Just excited for what's next and appreciate anything you and the team do. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. I'm sorry, I don't have any info on season 5 trailer date. I would love to just share it with you right now. I can't at the moment. I'm sorry. I didn't swirl it. Oh, is that let's do this first? Is that the thing? I did miss, but I missed the best way possible. We will play with that. We will accept that with a little bit of sadness. And that's okay. Gotta swirl it. All right. Will there be more tools in season 5 to deal with dot damage? Something specific I can think of. Not off the top of my head. I'd be surprised if there wasn't somewhere. I'd be really surprised if there wasn't somewhere. Why do new skills overpower old ones? Would it not be better to buff the old ones and have lots of viable builds to reach at least 400 corruption? I mean, 400 corruption I think is a relatively achievable goal with just about any skill in the game right now. Maybe not. I might be a little bit off on that, but I think the big problem is that how fast and how easily you can do that on certain builds and abilities. I placed that in a horrible spot. That's okay. Sweet. Oh, 1 LP sessions always worth picking up. Okay, let's go with this. I do think that there is room for better balancing, and we are developing new tools for that. There we go. 64 is close enough to max roll that we're not... Do we burn a crap ton on rolling that into 65? Probably not. We're just going to leave that as is because it's just 1 LP, yeah. Okay. We've got our sword, we've got our dagger, we've got our boots, our gloves, our helmet, our belts, a ring. A ring. Not thrilled about any of our rings. Chest and relic. And we've got some idle action here, not perfect, but you know, there's some there. I'd roll this Weaver stuff just to see what happens. This one. Fine. You're fine, and that's okay, I guess. Yeah. That goes into our usable category. Do I just start switching? I think I want to try and do one more. Will hideouts be added to the game at some point, or even just the ability to customize and decorate the floating island in the monolith? Cheers. I think the latter half of that is much more reasonable expectation than specifically hideouts. just the way like the instancing and the flow of Endgame already works. I think having the MREST Echo of a World, the real name of it is, having that be the like a surrogate for a hideout system would be a lot better. That's where I would advocate for, and we've talked about that on stream lots before. As like would be sweet to have. Yeah, I think even just like minor expression of like being able to customize what it looks like, just even that is fun. It's another one of those things that I think helps with multiplayer systems where you're like, check out my zone. Okay, cool. Let's look at your zone. Like how did you build that? I think just having a little touch of that is really nice in a multiplayer game like this that I think we're missing right now. We have a little bit of it in the like look at the MTX that I've picked out and like look at my gear and that sort of stuff, but like there's not a lot of it in the like look how I've like I earned this sweet I don't know, skin for the monolith stone, the timeline device that because I completed Uber Abbey, and like, you know, I think that'd be sweet to have. I would love stuff like that. Mementos of achievements in physical space that don't necessarily need to be reflected in your character itself. All right. Moving on. I feel like the Weaver items still lack power due to its pure randomness. Getting the very high rolls of 22 plus Weavers will, and then getting hit by RNG feels like a feature you have to avoid. I usually tend to skip the Weavers section of the tree as well because of the pure randomness. Any plans there? I think it's really, I do really like this system, and I think that it's good that there's a variety in items, the way the items generate. And I think it's fine that certain of those systems aren't for everyone. Yeah, I can understand the frustration behind it. Like last season, getting that amulet to roll, I must have built out. There's a block. There must have been 20 of those amulets that I went through before I even got one that had the one stat that I wanted. I was just looking for one single stat. It was frailty. So like I definitely get the frustration there. And when it's an integral part of your build, it is tough. When it's just not happening because you have no control over it. It might be nice if there was some sort of way to influence it. Like, okay, here's an idea. Maybe there's, and I don't think we necessarily do this. Might be too free. I still want to say it. I don't think we do this, but I think one option we could do something like this is have an imprint slot that says that puts specific stats on, influences the stats that go onto a Weaver's item. So you like put an item here, your Weaver's roll items more likely to be with the stat that's on this item. I think that's an option. I don't know if it's a good option. There might be better ways to do that. Why are minion affixes on weapon hybrid affixes while other affixes aren't hybrid? Why can't we have a singular to have better build focus? I think the builds that want to use that can utilize both of those are making a sacrifice in their build path already, where they are because they're doing a hybrid build of themselves damage and their minions damage. They're typically doing less damage in any one of those situations, so they're gaining less out of either of those options, and a build that's focusing on one of them is getting full value out of that one option. So you're getting a similar amount of power across all three categories with only one affix. I think that's valuable. Sorry by the way I asked this. That's okay, but the fastest way to explain it is, can we expect a unique storage like PoE unique premium storage? Would love it. I love collecting all the unique items, but the actual storage feels sad. I would absolutely love to have this. I don't think we have a specific version of this that's like slated in the next stash update. It's something I've asked for many times. It's something I will continue to ask for many times. I love it. I want it. Give it to me, please. Keep asking for it. Put it in the suggestion channels, please. Make it known you want this. Mike, are you interested in holding little events late in the season with or without resets? I'd love to. With events, I mean, there's a lot of caveats here. It's difficult to do. There's a lot of resources that go into this. We need to think very carefully on if it's even possible to do. Read the rest of the question here. With events, I mean things like things that shuffle the way we play for a bit. No loot lizard / XP event like uniques are not dropping, etc. Yeah, I think things like this are really cool. They're fun. Having like a special challenge mode that shows up for a bit or something, I think it's wonderful. Like a challenge mode where like items can only ever have 2 affixes on them. That'd be ridiculous, right? Like you can still get exalteds, but they can only ever have 2 affixes. Something, you know, like weird alternate challenges like that are fantastic. And I think it would help, especially when we do have these longer stretches between seasons. We don't have a great way we don't have the infrastructure set up to implement these things very well yet. This is the major problem. And taking the time out to implement the infrastructure for these things is the major part of the cost there, and does have a significant cost on the amount of time that gets spent working on the next major update, which means that either features need to be cut from the next major update or the next major update needs to be delayed even more. I'm not aiming at the boss. And neither of those things are things people want. All of those things are things people really want us to avoid as much as possible. The biggest feedback we get is give us more stuff and make it sooner. And so like if we were to start adding in events like this, we would give less stuff and make it later. So it's finding a way to do those things without compromising on the next season that we really need. And that might just mean attaching that to our plans for a season. So like saying, okay, we're gonna plan to set this up and it's gonna be part of the budgeted time for the next season. And we need to put that in the budget for time, sort of now for like 4 seasons from now, sort of thing. I don't know what would be, but like it's not like a thing we can slap onto this season or probably even next season because we don't have the infrastructure for it. All right, 531. I didn't even look what it was going to go up to. This is pretty high. This is the highest we've been on this character. Let's see if we can survive 1 echo at 531. I don't think we will do well. Season 4 had a deflation in item prices, and the gold dungeon is not viable to do as it is almost impossible to profit. Are players generating less gold? There is we added a tax to the system in general. So like there is there's less gold to go around because there's gold that's being extracted from the economy as that's happening. I have a feeling that was a big part of it, which I think is a good thing. Makes entering the market a lot easier. I don't know if we actually reduced the gold generation rate. I'd be surprised if we did. I think we may have reduced the ease at which you could get to like bonkers corruption, which maybe was reducing the amount of gold generation. I'm speculating quite a bit here. I think imprinting was caused. If I'm speculating on this, I think imprinting being so powerful was allowing players to like bootstrap builds very quickly up into generating tons of gold through super high corruption very easily. And I think that may have cascaded out a little bit, so that people weren't getting quite as high quite as quick. So this one thing is I do notice a pretty huge jump in gold generation when I went to, like, when I was up at 1,000, I think 1,100 corruption last season. I was generating a lot of gold pretty quick. Like, I've already made 180k this stream, which I know isn't very much, but it's a lot more than I was making at like 100 corruption. All right, more questions, Mike. You got to get through these. There's not a lot of time left. How do you feel about the desire for mage affixes being in the pool when using ROR to shuffle affixes where appropriate and valid? We're talking about putting basically mage exclusive affixes onto non-mage items here. I think class specific affixes need to remain class specific. I think we frequently will set specific affixes as class specific so that they are as like a control system for like what's gonna be possible to be created. Or we'll say like, okay, this maybe there's a more cooldown reduction that's possible on. Well, sometimes we'll add up the maximum amount of a certain stat to see what's possible when we're building up a thing. So we'll say like, okay, mage can only get this much cooldown reduction. Great, so we can make this ability have this much cooldown reduction built into the stat, so that we know that the cooldown will never go below 1 second or something like that. Hey, we got another one.
Until next time.
We'll end the stream with corrupting another one of those. Hope we don't break this one too. I bricked one right at the end of the last stream. Join me in my campaign, Justice for Exiled Mages. Can EHG reduce the Vault of Uncertain Fate gold cost in Season 4 yet? I mean, we're not going to change it mid-season. It's not going to go down. If it were to go down, the next time it would go down would be the start of Season 5. Some runs, I want to make some runs, but the gold cost is insane right now. I mean, so part of it is that it is designed such that just taking all of the best stuff does make it unreasonably expensive. Like you need to pick and be strategic on which things you're picking. And I don't want to say there's no chance that it's too high, except there's possibility that it might be too high right now. My gut is that if it is too high, it's not crazy too high. Oh, here we go. 2 of them. We got some corruption fodder. Grr. We did that. That wasn't that bad. See, this is kind of the problem I'm talking about. So we just had a big jump in corruption, and it wasn't that different. We're not like seeing a change in like, we didn't unlock a new drop possibility. It's not like all of a sudden there's like a change in like, oh, suddenly champion affixes can drop at tier 7 they couldn't before, or anything like that. Like, there's no mechanical difference that unlocked when we did that big jump. It's just got a little bit harder and a little bit better. You know, it's just that smooth scale of things. And I'd really like to see that change to be a more clear, like, this is why it's harder. Like, this is the jump. You can feel the jump, and this is what you get out of that jump. Was the comparative difficulty in farming Omen idols and idol altars for COF players due to COF bonuses not applying to general Omens intentional? And can we expect a similar lack of support for coming seasons mechanics in the season they are introduced? I think... I don't know why it wasn't included. I think it should have been. I think it should have been included. There may have been a good reason for that. I'd be interested to know what that reason was, if there is one. This is like there has to have been a good reason, and I don't know what it is off the top of my head, because this is the sort of thing that I feel like we bring up so often internally, where like there's a new mechanic coming in and we're like, COF has to get a bonus from it, and it's always a debate when it doesn't happen. There's always a big debate about it. And sometimes, I will admit, when I lose a debate on something like that, I get a little frustrated. And sometimes the reason I am just like, I lost. That's all I remember about it. Not why I lost. I should improve on that. How hyped are you for Season 5, considering you already know what is coming? Extremely hyped. I think that... I think we'll be able to surprise you with at least one thing, in a good way. Which I'm always... I always get like kind of giddy about, where I'm like, hee, there's a surprise coming, hee. And I always love those. Is there any chance we might, and it's nothing massive, but you know, I love little surprises. Is there any chance we might get a few more endgame activities in the future? Yes, like dungeon keys or something along those lines. It's already one of my favorite games. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, like there's we were looking at new endgame systems, new like things outside of the monolith, things inside of the monolith, spin-offs, other ways to interact with endgame, ways to access new bosses, different gameplay styles, you know, things like that are all in development. Some of these are looking pretty far forward. Like we're looking seasons past, like LEO even. And there's a lot of really cool systems that are from like an engineering standpoint that we've been developing over the last like couple years, and are getting really, there's a lot of time allocated in the next year for expanding those systems and the functionality we have that'll enable us to build new gameplay systems that weren't possible before. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff happening there. Any thoughts on making full respec cheaper? Maybe the first respec free? Yes. I don't think maybe first respec free, but full respec's cheaper. Yes. I think first respec free really encourages a play pattern that we'd like to avoid, but is kind of expected in most RPGs, which is the like, here's your leveling build and here's your endgame build. And you're like, I'm gonna play my leveling build up to this point, and then boom, I'm gonna respec, here's my endgame build. And it's a system that can work, and a system that quite often happens, but it's not something that I'm huge on in general, incentivizing. So I really like this idea of, like, this is my marksman. I made my marksman, and my marksman is awesome. And like, I am switching to a Bladedancer, which is, I think, fine. But it is there is some, like, hate when I say this, but there's some weight to that decision. And I think that's an emotional weight for me personally, more than anything, which is fine. And I think we've put too much of a cost associated with that right now. So yes, reducing the cost of the respecs is something that we're interested in, and something that I don't think there's been much pushback on that. I think it's something that I can't remember the specifics on what's happening there. But yeah, respecs are too expensive right now. Okay. I think respecs in the form of we're also looking at how respecs work with skills, and shifting the skill respec to be more similar to the passive respec. I don't have details on what that looks like exactly yet, but getting them more in line so that they're similar to each other is something that we're interested in. Filter really likes this smoke bomb one. I don't know why. It's probably really good. I'm just like, shatter it. Bah. These gloves have a cool affix on them I'm gonna keep. I want that cemetery. I want it. Oh, I've been playing LE and a few other ARPGs, and they all have one thing in common. Poison damage is way more deadly than any other dot. Can you shed light onto why it's so difficult to balance poison? This is kind of funny because last week I had a question that was the exact opposite of this. Is why is poison so weak in last Epoch? I think that it's difficult to thematically and mechanically split poison off from other dots. It's really easy to say, I hit you with a big fireball and therefore fireball deal more damage. I hit you with a big poison, what does that look like? Like, so in last Epoch specifically, we don't have poison hit damage ever. There is no source of poison hit damage in the game. Every hit-based effect that is poison themed deals physical damage at base. So Acid Flask, the initial hit damage is physical and the poison portion is strictly the dot. Serpent Strike, the initial hit is physical and the poison is strictly the dot. And this damage split inherently causes damage. It reduces the damage overall that the ability does. So sometimes we give it a little bit more oomph in the dot side of things. And then because poison is strictly a dot and you want to make it mechanically unique and have something special to it, which is why poison makes poison stronger. For us, and I think it's that natural like multiplicative effect that has in history made it very strong for last Epoch. I think also because the initial hits don't change the amount of, this is in last Epoch specifically, the initial hits don't change the amount of damage you deal. So if you hit with a 1 damage attack or a 1,000,000 damage attack, the dot that it applies is the exact same damage, meaning that faster hits are way better at applying dots than bigger hits, which again, poison you want as many as possible because it's self-multiplicative. So you have this situation where, and then like poison res shred, same thing. It's better to apply lots of hits to get more stacks of it up there. There's all these things that just like really point you in this singular direction of as many hits as possible, as fast as possible, and the more you get, the better it is, because they all scale off of each other. And because it's so focused in like the game plan, I think it can get a little out of hand at the high end when you really focus that focusing effect properly. Will skeletons be more accurate with their attacks in season 5? I didn't realize that they had a chance to miss. Like, they have a chance to just like deal 0 damage from a miss. They should aim directly at what they're attacking too. That's cool. Are skeletons inaccurate? Am I crazy? Oh, double exalt quiver. Oh yeah, the relic that I corrupted. It's a T7, T6 relic, I think, or T7, T6. It's a triple exalted, but I don't know if it's single 7 or double 7. But I thought it was pretty cool. I think it's better to actually use the max roll normal set item, but because it's so many affixes corrupted, I was just like, I'm gonna use it. Oh, we're at time. Okay. I was gonna try one more boss fight before the end, but we're at the time. I'm gonna finish these last couple questions, and we'll round out the stream. And I will save the respec for the start of next stream. I'm gonna come next stream. We'll start with literally nothing on us, and we're gonna just do the respec right from scratch right there. what do you guys think of PoE's solution to instant trading in gold as non-tradable fee? I think PoE 2's, like, I assume you mean PoE 2's, it may be the same. I haven't played PoE 1 this season at all. Actually, it's been a while since I played PoE 1. The trade system in PoE 2 I think is working fantastic. I think it's wild that we had some sort of influence on PoE 2. I think that I think it works great. Like, yeah. I've been selling stuff. It's been great. Big fan. In general, I tend to hit a wall with progression at level 90. What do you suggest the player should do? I'm thinking more about general pattern of hitting a point at higher levels. The next upgrade feels too far away, or even not knowing where to go next. Yeah, I think this is an issue, and this sort of thing that I think we'd really like to combat with in-game systems and functionality. I think corruption tiers is going to be a big thing to help with this in general. I think it'll be much easier to signpost good activities to do with corruption tiers, to help solve this exact problem. I think that there's a possibility in some situations where a build, like if it's a homebrew build that might not be coming together quite as well as you'd hoped, that might be what's holding you back as well. You may have to look at, getting some help with the build, restructuring it a little bit. Scrapping it entirely and going with something more meta is possibly the option as well. Yeah, I would argue I'm playing a pretty maybe meta adjacent build, but definitely not a meta build. And yeah, I'm like, it's been a while to get to 98 here, and I'm struggling to get past 500 corruption. That's like kind of the wall I'm hitting. And I'm respecking. Any plans to add more glyphs and runes in season 5? Oh, I sure hope so. I've been fighting this one. There's one in particular that I really want to do. I'm working on it still. Don't worry. And on that maybe disappointment, it's time to end. Where are we here? I hope you had fun. I know I did. I'll be back same time, same place next week, but not the week after that. So in 2 weeks' time on the 10th, I will not be here. I won't have internet access on that day. So I won't be streaming. Yeah. And then there may even be the week after that is touch and go if I'll be back as well. So we'll see. There might be a little bit of a gap. Might get someone else to fill in for me. If I didn't answer your question, I apologize. It was not intentional. Or if I didn't answer it quite well enough and you'd like me to expand on it, I'd be happy to do so over on our Discord channel and the Ask the Devs channel. Yeah, but have fun, drink lots of water. I hope you have a wonderful time. Got it. Just gonna kill the next 5 seconds. Go say hi to Aaron. Bye, everybody.